John, how have the lads recovered from Tuesday?
Yeah, pretty well. I think we came in on Wednesday morning, we did the debrief of the game and then had just a light recovery session for the boys that had played the night before, and then for the other lads had a bit more of an intense session just to get a bit of training into them, and then we've been back in today doing all the Reading prep, and I think everybody's bright, and obviously helps after winning a game, but bright and buzzy going into the game at the weekend.
How's Tom Lowry doing? What's the verdict on his injury?
So Tom had a hamstring scan. The scan results came back that he's got I think a grade 2C tear in there, which is something that we're going to have to get assessed by a specialist at the weekend. Less so the severity of the tear, but I think more so the location of it. So no timescale on that yet. It's the news we pretty much expected, unfortunately. So we're going to take that as it comes next week. I think we'll have a bit more of an update after the Charlton game.
What was there to take from Tuesday in terms of performance?
I think with the overall performance was really positive in terms of the way that we actually deserved to win the game, particularly dominating the second half. Loads to improve upon in the first half, particularly after 15 to 20 minutes I think of dominance. I thought we really took our foot off the gas and then probably deserved to go a goal down. Sparked into life after that, but I think the message to the boys is the fact they can't wait for these things to happen, because eventually, if we keep doing that, you're going to come unstuck, and we did that a couple of times over Christmas. So we've got to make sure that we're really on top of ourselves, and we go into the game Saturday making sure that we take all the positive parts of the second half into the performance.
Reading, they've been on a great run of form recently. What are you expecting from them?
They're a good side. I think they've done very, very well since the start of the season, having the points deduction and dealing with everything that they've obviously had to deal with off the pitch, and having to sell a few players in January. So I think a really good side that have got some good players in. They recruited well in the summer. They've got a head coach who was in the Premier League last year, so they know what they're doing, and they've picked up some really, really good results recently, dragged themselves away from the relegation zone, so we expect a really good game of football and a tough test.
Naturally, this game brings back memories of Reading away. What can you remember from that game?
Well, I think just to reiterate what we'd said there about it being a tough test and Reading being a good side, when we weren't at it for the first half an hour of the game, we found ourselves 2-0 down, and quite deservedly so. And then even when we got back into the game, I think Sam Smith missed a chance to make it 3-1, so we've got to be really on top of ourselves and make sure that we don't give them anything and we don't let them into the game at all if possible, and we can only do that by performing properly and doing what we did in the second half when we played at their place. So we've got plenty of work to do. It's not going to be an easy game by any means, but I think if we stay on top of ourselves, then we give ourselves half a chance.
Is there anything you can take from that game, or is it too far gone now and sides are looking different?
I think the only thing to take from the game is that we can't perform like we did for that first half hour, because it doesn't matter who you play against, especially sides against Reading with the quality that they had, you're going to get punished. So we've got to make sure that we take that as a general message into the game. But the two sides have changed a lot since then. I think even in terms of personnel, both sides will be relatively unrecognisable, with maybe 4 or 5 changes at least on both sides. So a huge difference when you spend that amount of time in between games as well. Sides evolve, sides change, circumstances change, and obviously playing at Fratton Park makes it different for us as well.
It's set to be the highest attendance in over 10 years at Fratton Park tomorrow. How much can the lads feed off their energy once again?
Yeah, I think it works both ways. Obviously, I think the energy of the crowd's going to be, it's going to be based on how well we start the game and how well we play, which is fair enough, and we obviously want to try and feed off it both ways, and as soon as the crowd are up, we know that our performance levels, I think, rise as well. And the second half on Tuesday night was a really good example of that. I think as soon as the crowd saw that we sorted ourselves out after that tricky patch, we'd obviously got the goal back and came out well in the second half. We got a massive response from the whole of Fratton, so really, really important, I think, that we leverage that going into the game and try and take advantage of what was going to be massively good home support.